what's been going on with you? How you doing? How you been holding up? I mean, it's been crazy times. That's obvious.
Yeah. Well, it's been a year, a little bit over a year since I fought because the pandemic like struck like right after my fight. So for a while, everybody was on hold. Then like boxing has just started to pick back up, but it's really like the bigger networks like the Zone and people like that that's starting to do shows. So as it's picking up, I'm expecting to get in the mix, being a world champion and all. So.
And so for me, I've been listening to a lot of music, doing a lot of cooking, working out, doing martial arts and boxing, all that kind of good stuff that goes along with it, watching TV shows. What have you been doing to pass time? Because it's been really, really crazy, right?
Yes. At first, like I was really buried into training. Well, not at first, because I had just fought. So when the pandemic struck, I kind of like everybody stayed away from people. So when we got a chance to go back to the gym, I really like buried myself into training because I was thinking like I would get a fight right away. Like I thought that I was going to be possibly fighting Chantel Cameron, but she ended up having to fight her mandatory for her belt. So that fell through. So I was like in heavy training for that fight. And then things kind of, switched up, but that's boxing. Like I said, I've been in boxing for, I'll say 20 years and a professional, maybe 13 now. So I've had those moments where things you so high for a fight and then just everything falls apart and you're like, hey. So I've learned to keep my character in those situations and know like when the right time comes and the right situation is going to happen. But I've been training though. Like I love to run. I love to stay in shape. But any world champion fighter knows that you can't stay in fight shape the whole time. You can stay in shape, but fight shape is a whole nother level of training.
I was going to ask you, like, what's your training routine and diet? Because that's really important, nutrition. And, I used to fight amateur, and you're right, you cannot always stay on that weight. It's very, very difficult. And to weight drain and go from multiple weight classes, which I'm sure every fighter knows about the multiple weight classes. When I entered a boxing gym, I was 168. By the time they had me fighting, they got me down to 139. I'm like, what are you guys doing to me?
Yeah, like I can walk around heavier, but I wouldn't fight at those weight classes. I'm only 5'6", and my frame isn't built like that. Like I'm actually friends with Clarissa, and when we stand next to each other, it's like her back is bigger than mine. And size matters in boxing, you know what I mean? So you have to pay attention to that. So you're supposed to stay where I feel you are at your best. Yeah, in women boxing, you have to fluctuate because I fought all the way at 135. I fought at 147. I fought at 140. I've even entertained 150, but the girls were way bigger than me. The bigger I went, but you have to do that in female boxing to get a fight.
You do a lot of sparring in your training sessions, like in your routine, and what's your training like?
Well, I'll say a normal training week is 5 days a week. I do anywhere from 4 to 5 days of running a week, anywhere from 3 to 5 miles. I enjoy running. Actually, it gives me like a mental peace of mind or something. So running for me is kind of recreation too, but it's part of my exercise. Then if I have strength and conditioning, we do that for about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, 2 or 3 days a week at best. And that's if a fight's coming. And then at night, I'm in the gym another 2 hours. And that's heavy bag, jump rope, pads with my coach. So, yeah. So it's a pretty busy job.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you run outside or do you do the treadmill or a combination hybrid of both?
I hate the treadmill.
Yeah.
I will run on it if the weather's bad. I feel like that's the hamster wheel. We just going in the same spot.
Yes.
And after a while, a mile go by and I'll be like, that's all I did. My coach be like, yeah. I'm like, I hate this thing. Running outside is my thing. I like seeing people. I'll be needing encouragement when people ride past me and be like, yeah, champ. Sometimes it'd be a moment where I'm ready to quit and somebody be like, yeah, keep going. I'm like, I needed that.
Yeah, it lights that fire. Yeah. So lighting a fire, when you run, what's your playlist? Do you listen to music while you run? Because I do.
Yeah, I do. I got my own song, Merciless Mary by Taylor. I listen to that mostly. I got a plethora of things that I listen to. It depends. Like I like this guy named NF. He doesn't curse in his rap. He's kind of real motivating. Sometimes I listen to Eminem. Sometimes I listen to Jay-Z. Sometimes I'm feeling real motivated and ready to go. I might play some Beyonce, I'm Here or something. You know, I don't know. I'm real all over with music.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. And Eminem definitely will light the fire, you know,
Yeah.
and the spark and all that. Because you kind of need that push. And like you were talking about, when someone gives you like that pat on the back to push you far. And, you know, to be a boxer, you know, let's get into this now. It's not the easiest job in the world. It's the loneliest place on the planet, you know.
Thank you.
And yes, 100%. What got you into the sport of boxing from its inception? Like, what got you in that ring?
You mean just from the first interest?
Yep.
Boy, I was like 13 going on 14, hot tail little girl, and I was getting interested in guys. And it was this guy at my gym that I thought was so attractive. Well, not at my gym, at my school, that I thought was so attractive. And he told me he was a boxer and I was a cheerleader. And he was like, I'm going to the boxing gym. And I was like, we don't have a boxing gym in Gary. He was like, yes, we do. I was like, yeah, whatever. Show me. He was like, okay, well, let's go. So we went down the street from the school. It was like over a hill. So when we got there, we walked in, I saw all these boxing bags and all these guys that just looked great working out. And I said, oh my God, this is cool. So that's the initial reason. So I walked up to the coach in my cheerleading uniform and I said, hey, I want to box. And he was like, no, you don't. He was like mad because I was really cute. Like I'm still cute, but I was really cute that day. And he was like, oh, no, but he couldn't turn me away because it was a non-for-profit gym. So he let me stay there for 3 days. And after 3 days, he put me in the ring and got my butt kicked all around the ring. Mm-hmm. And after that, I was so mad on my way home, like snot and crying mad. Like, I can't believe they just beat me up like that. I trained every day for months in my backyard just to beat them up originally. I'm like, I don't care. It rose the competitive side in me that probably was already there. It was just fate. Like they say, everything happens for a reason. I believe in that. So it was a reason that happened that brought me there. Yeah, I'm into all the makeup and all the girly stuff, but I love boxing because I told somebody, it was like, you so pretty and you always making yourself up like a girl. I was like, boxing really isn't about strength. It's an art.
And what I love about boxing is that it's a brotherhood. Like I trained in Newark, New Jersey. You know, you have all different cultures, all different classes of people. And it was so great and a great experience. And, you know, they welcomed me in and I embraced them and we learned off each other. And, you know, the best part is that you can fight somebody that you respect and then you piece it up.
You get it. Yeah. Cause I was like a real angry kid inside. Like I grew up with my grandmother because my parents were they had drug addiction back in the day when I was a kid. So I was raised by my grandparents. So growing up as a kid in my neighborhood, like you get like a lot of kids are cruel. Let's just get that out of the way. They can be so mean when they want to be. And you get teased by little, yes. Nasty. So I always was fighting somebody. So when I was able to box and actually hit the bag and go to the gym and hit somebody, that's really kind of what sealed the deal for me too. Like, this is cool.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And, you know, my last name is Signorella. So think about what I had to deal with growing up. I know kids could be nasty. They're all like, hey, Cinderella, where's your glass slipper? I'm like, no, it's Sig. There's an S, not a C, you know? So for me, I got into Taekwondo, not because of that reason, that I got into amateur boxing and stuff like that. But you've had a great career. Like I said, you know, you've won multiple fights. You're a world champion. When can we see you back again? Like, what's the idea for your comeback here?
So I have a great team. Brian Cowan is my manager. Lou DeBella is my promoter, and they stay in contact with me. And they have been working hard. They were the ones trying to make the fight originally. They worked their hardest to try, but, you know, the WBC overshadowed them and said she had to fight the mandatory. So I know they're working, and throughout a pandemic and it being women's boxing, we're in a pool. We're in a small pool when there's a sea for men. So finding a fight for me is not going to be as easy. So I know that they're working, and I think we're looking like towards May or June to try to.
Excellent. And I know Lou is definitely, you know, a guy that really presses women's boxing, which
And
I
he
think
keeps
we
his
need.
word too. And I can really tell he cares about me because it's times Brian is just out the blue say, Lou will say, I got to make sure I get Mary a fight.
Yeah.
So I know he's working. And they helped me get that.
I love it.
They
Can we see this right now, if you don't mind? Like, let me.
Oh
That's
my,
a beautiful belt.
trust me, I don't mind showing her.
Look at that. Oh my goodness. What was that like to win a world title? Like, that
Ooh.
had to be so incredible for you.
I got this picture when I just fell to my knees and started crying. Because I remember when I
Oh,
told
let
them,
me see it.
I told them the picture. I'm going to send it to
If
you.
you
And
can, yeah, send it to
when
me.
when I saw that picture, I cry when I see it because it told my whole story. Like for 20 years, I say from the day I started, I strive to be a world champion. That's all I ever wanted was to be a world champion. I always knew I was a world champion, but I wanted everybody else to know that I was. And nothing. I understand that everybody wants to be undisputed. That never was my dream when I started. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being undisputed, but when I started boxing, there was no such thing. So for me to be a world champion was the greatest strike for me. So now I just want to fight the best. If you got all the belts, fine. You know what I mean? If you got one belt, fine. I want to put on great fights because like I'll use, for example, the Brockis McCaskill 2 fight. I went to the fight or whatever, but the fight was good. But for women boxing, we need to be great. We need to see matches that, you know what I'm saying, are dynamic. Fights that went well. I can't say who was the reason why the fight wasn't good, you know, because Cecilia didn't box. It's like she was still trying to fight McCaskill's fight. And we know what McCaskill's fight is. She's going to come forward and she's going to press the issue. She's not going to let up, and you can't hold or whatever to try to stop her from doing so. You got to box her. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is with this title, I want to fight the best. I think me and Chantel Cameron would be a great match. I think that would be a great 140-pound fight. I'm willing to put my belt up. She's willing to put hers up. Let's go.
I was going to ask you who's next and who you want, because I know.
Yeah, I want to fight Chantel Cameron. I want to fight Jessica McCaskill. If I'm going in that order.
Yeah.
Of the 2 that I want to fight right now.
Yeah, you're not ducking anyone.
No. I mean, that's not. I'm 27-3 with 15 knockouts.
Yes.
I fought Holly Holmes her last fight in women's boxing. She thought that I was a great opponent for her to go out with fighting, and she was one of the best in her prime at the time that I fought her. And after she fought me, went and knocked out Ronda Rousey, who they said was invincible. And I fought 10 rounds with her. So ducking somebody is not the question.
No.
Not the question. Right time, right day.
Yes.
You got a belt. I got one. Let's go.
That's absolutely correct. It's funny, too, because when Holly went over there and fought Ronda Rousey, I live in Vegas now. I'm originally from the East Coast of New Jersey. And I looked at the sports book line, and I said to myself, I think Holly's got a good shot here. And she was like a huge underdog.
Yep. And I said she was going to win.
I said it, too. I told my wife, I'm like, she's going to win. She's like, why don't you just go to the sports book and lay down a wager? I'm like, I'm being lazy. I had a couple beers. I didn't want to go anywhere. And then next thing I know, Holly knocks her out 2 rounds. I'm like, oh my God. You know, I could have won some money that day.
I signed about 15 autographs that night. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. And when I walked in Buffalo Wild Wings, I said, I'm betting on Holly. And it was so crowded because Ronda was such a superstar at that time. Yeah. They was like, you're going to lose your money. I said, no, Holly's going to beat her. How I knew, I'm very good at watching interviews and listening to what a person say, because subconsciously you're going to say how you really feel. And Ronda said, I can outbox her. First mistake. You never step into the realm of something that somebody great at already. She said, I'm going to outbox Holly. And I said, that's what she's going to lose at. I said, Ronda's been too busy making movies, and now she thinks she's a boxer. So when we was at Buffalo Wild Wings, I said, she's going to lose. They're like, well, how do you know? I said, well, I fought Holly Holmes 10 rounds her last fight in boxing, and I can fight. And she beat me. I said, I've never said a girl beat me in a loss. I've always had like, I could have won. Holly was at her best that night. And I said, if that same girl fights Ronda Rousey, she's going to knock her out. And they was like, you don't know nothing. Boxing isn't, they was cursing like, you don't know nothing about MMA. So when she knocked her out, They turned around and said, "How did you know?" I said, "What do you mean?"
I had an idea too. I had an
she
idea
out
going
punched
in.
her first, and then she finished her with a kick.
Yeah, yo, dude, that kick was nasty. Like,
but she was already knocked out from all the
she was
combinations
already
she had
done.
got caught back. Yeah,
that
she was already
just
through.
like, yeah, that, you know, and as far as cursing, go ahead, feel free if you need to, and because I do it a lot too. But at the end of the day, that sent her straight to hell. That last kick, when I saw that, I was like, oh no. I was like, please make sure the referee, because with UFC, it's different. Like sometimes they'll let this thing go when someone's on the ground and they're like,
and let you stump. Yeah, it was over.
And you just see them like getting rocked up, and it's like, that's no good, man. But first of all, what I want to talk about is good. And I want to start the show with this, and I almost forgot about it. And I'm glad I didn't. Your nickname, Merciless. Wow. That's a powerful nickname. Where did that come from?
Merciless Mary. Did you see the fight when I won my world title?
I did.
You seen how I stopped that girl? And the referee had
almost
peeled me off of her.
Yeah.
That's why they call I fought like that my whole life. My very first amateur coach, he started calling me Merciless. And I said, "Why you call me that?" He said, "Because when you're fighting, no matter what's going on, you do not stop fighting. You do not let up. You could be getting hit and you still will not let up."
The record, you know, you look at 31 bouts that you're at right now, according to my notes, and 15 KOs. So you got a 50% knockout ratio, which is excellent in boxing.
And it would be higher if they give us 3-minute rounds.
I was going to ask you that question next. This is why, you know, you're definitely a sister from another mother to me. I was going to ask you that question. Now I'm telling you, I was going to ask you that question next, because how do you think we get more exposure to female boxing? And also, you know, like you mentioned the 3-minute round, like you want 3 minutes.
3-minute rounds. I train 3-minute rounds. I'm from old school training, so 3-minute rounds is just, you know, what everybody does. But not only that, with 3-minute rounds, it gives you more of a time to settle down. Also, it gives you more time to pick your spots and also break the opponent down. 2-minute rounds is too fast. Those rounds you can, like I said, for example, if a fighter like, who can I say? McCaskill. If a fighter like McCaskill fights a 3-minute round, she cannot keep that pace the entire 3 minutes, period. That way you can see more of a two-sided fight versus a one-sided slop fest or a tough man looking fight or whatever. You can see some boxing, you can see some brawling, you can see a little bit of everything. You can also see the skills in the women, because it gives you, like I said, more time to settle into the fight, also to break the opponent down.
That is a wonderful assessment, and very.
We are professionals, and I'm giving my whole life. I'm giving hours of my time in training. Allow me to perform. Give me the time to perform. I'm training for months for this.
Yeah.
And this is my life. Give me what I deserve. I'm a professional. I'm putting on a show. I want the whole 30 minutes that the men get.
You know, I love this. I'm getting choked up thinking about it. And you're absolutely passionate and correct about everything you said there. And so informative to a lot of people, because if you don't fight, like, you don't know what it's like to be in there. And like, you're correct. The way you assessed how short 2 minutes are, like you start finding your footing, you start getting your rhythm, you start doing things. And halfway through the round, if you're doing a 3-minute round, you know, from my experience, you know, you start, you know, engaging or understanding the temperament of the fight, and if you're doing well or if you need to make adjustments, etc. And so if you don't have that benefit of doing that, you feel like a little slighted there, right? Like, I mean, you're not getting the whole.
I mean, and then some, like I said, I'm smart. I listen to interviews, and watching an interview, I've heard different fighters say, yeah, because within 2 minutes, I could just keep this pace up. So you could just keep up a sloppy showdown for 2 minutes. That's not helping women's boxing. That's not making women boxing grow. So because you sloppy and you throwing wild and you doing whatever for 2 minutes. So you doing, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, you can throw down.
I got you.
You windmilling. Okay, you could get away with windmilling for 2 minutes. Right. But the other opponent don't have a chance to box you or break you down, so they can see. I'm saying, if they give us 3 minutes, I have people on the edge of their seat. I mean, I already doing 2 minutes, because if I can't break you down in 2 minutes, I'll knock you out in the 9th and 10th round. Then I'm gonna break you down one way or the other, though.
Great point. It's like, look at like what happened with Pacquiao and Marquez 4. You know, like at the very last second, Marquez just starched him, knocked him out cold.
That's what I did to Estache in the 10th round of my fight for my title.
There you go. Because you
but
had
it shouldn't be like that. I could have broke her down sooner with more time, more rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, more time in the rounds, more, you know, per round.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me about like that mentality, not to give away your secrets, but because it's called the sweet science, and there's a formula to fighting. Now, styles make fights. Everyone is different. So when you go in with like a game plan,
right?
Like what do you try to do throughout the course of the fight, and in particular each individual round?
The first round or so, my coach said like the first round or two, he don't even give no instructions really, because we got to see what they gonna bring. You got to see what they gonna do. Maybe they just gonna fill me out the first time. Maybe they gonna come out trying to swing and throw their best stuff.
Yes.
I'd rather get hit with your best stuff in the first round, because then now I know what to expect the rest of the night. I got a chin, granted, ain't never been knocked out, so know that. But I like to know what you got, because one thing about having experience, I know sometimes a person only strong for the first 3 or 4 rounds. Mm-hmm. So then if I know, ooh, she got a good overhand, ooh, she got a good left hook. So I know maybe for the next 3 rounds, it might be strong, but then it's going to die down as the fight go on. So with me, honestly, I'm like a computer. I figure out what I want to do to you after I get in there. But the best thing every fighter should always have first is a jab.
You're in Indiana?
Yep.
What's the food like over there?
Ooh, actually, in Gary, we got some good food, but they like hole in the walls, like little restaurants, but they be the bomb. I hope they blow up one day. Coney King. I like Kelly Soul Kitchen. I like Big Daddy's. What else we got out here? Well, we had this one place called Phenomenal Ribs. They closed. They had this chicken sausage link. Woo!
Ribs and all that kind of good stuff. So is that part of your diet? Like, you know, ribs and like
no, hecky no. I'm just telling you what's good. I ain't been able to eat it in about a month.
Oh man. So what are you eating to get by?
What am I eating now?
Yeah, what are you eating?
Oh, well, I'm making my own food. Right now, I'm eating, like, in the mornings, I do, like, oatmeal, turkey sausages. So, right now, I'm cooking. I be doing, like egg whites, oatmeal in the morning. Sometimes I do grits because I like grits, toast. Because I ain't got to lose a whole lot of weight. Because you ain't got to be on weight right now. So I ain't got to lose a whole lot of weight, like maybe 5 or 6 pounds at best. But
yeah,
not a whole lot to be at walk around weight. Stop it.
Understood. How do we follow you on social media, Twitter, Instagrams, all that kind of stuff? Okay,
Instagram is Mary McGee _champion. Oh, what is my Twitter? I just did Twitter. Mary McGee, I know that. Mary McGee on Facebook, and on TikTok, I'm Mary McGee 5. Y'all will like me on TikTok too. I make a lot of videos. I be having fun. Joy in life.
I tell you what, I do shows like as a guest sometimes, and they're like, how do we follow you? I'm like, you know, to be honest with you, I have no idea because I'm terrible. I remember because we have so many different accounts. Like my Twitter's one name, my Facebook's another name, and then, you know, and then my stepdaughter's telling me about TikTok. I'm like, what is a TikTok-y? She's like, no, TikTok. You know, and I
love TikTok. You on TikTok?
I don't have a TikTok yet.
You will love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna get on that TikTok then. And by the way, like again, I love the room you're in. That vibe, Muhammad Ali, the greatest. Absolutely right.
Yes. Yes. Humble, great, good guy, people person. That's everything I would like to fashion. I got my own swag I add to my things, but that him is just overall boxing, a person. Just, I don't know. I can't even describe him in words, but I've learned so much from him. I always want to stay humble. I'm not better than nobody. I'm just my best me. And I learned a lot of my ways from Muhammad Ali. That's why I'm able to still have fun, be a fighter, smile, be cute, all of that. Muhammad Ali taught me that. He's the greatest.
Beautiful. I mean, I never met Muhammad Ali. But
me either. I wish I did.
I knew people that knew him. And then what I took away was this, is that if if someone was like an electrician or a doctor or whatever, once they met Muhammad Ali, they became a better electrician, a better doctor, a better person. Like whenever I spoke to anyone that met Muhammad Ali, they said that it elevated their life to such a higher level. And so we only see what we saw in the fights and like the press and all that. Imagine what this man was like behind the scenes.
Or what he probably could have just told you one-on-one just for you. You know, like
absolutely.
Oh, thinking about him make me just like
I know I'm looking at this. I got
chills real quick. Like because that's the man right there. Like everything about him.
I watched Frazier and Ali won the other day for the millionth time. You go watch that fight so many times to see so many different things. I mean, first of all, the spectacle of it was fascinating and just amazing. But Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali, oh my God, like they gave so much that night. And they gave throughout 3 fights. I actually met Joe Frazier one time in Philadelphia for a fundraiser benefit. Bernard Hopkins was there, a lot of great people, Teddy Atlas, great boxers. Ruben Hurricane Carter was there. How great is that? And Joe was feeling a little frisky. I don't know if he had a little bit to sip or whatever. And he comes up to me. I got a great picture with him. And he hits me to the body before we take the picture. So I actually have the street cred of getting a body shot from Joe Frazier.
Oh, wow.
Mind you, it might have been playful for some people. No. That shit sucked. And I got to use that language because that's the only way I could put it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. If you see me in the
sometimes it touch it even hurt.
Oh, my goodness, man. Joe Frazier. He comes in and I asked Bernard because I was chilling with him. And I took great photos with him, and he's such a great guy, Bernard Hopkins. And you know, so I'm like, yo, can I talk to Joe for a minute? Because he was rolling with Joe that night, and he's like, absolutely, go on, go in. I'm like, okay, great. So I go up to him, and then he comes in, Joe, like I said, and just lands one, and I'm like, and you can see in the photo, I'm kind of like happy, but I'm like one of those like where I'm not like I'm trying to smile, but I'm trying to like
damn, that kind of hurt.
Kind of hurt, but I appreciate you so much. You guys are doing so great. I appreciate
you as well.
Yes, we had a great time today, and everything will be on iHeart, Spotify, everywhere that you can find any kind of audio thing, and also the YouTube thing for the video, and you know, it'll be up within the next hour or so. And I cannot thank you enough for this amazing experience and educating. You educated a lot of people about things that obviously I have a lot of listeners that are boxing and fight fans, combat sports fans.
Right.
Educated a lot of people on a lot of things that they don't know. And I really appreciate that information.
Last but not least, before we get out, shout out to my girl, Alicia Napoleon on the new baby. Congratulations, girl. I can't wait to hold her.
Congratulations.
Yes, a baby girl. I'm so happy for her.
That's wonderful, especially like, you know, nowadays, you know, we all need things like that, elation and just straight up happiness, you know, keeping life going.
That's why I had my baby. I was boxing all that time. And then when I ended up pregnant with my son 6 years back, I was just like, I want to be a mother. I want to have this child. Boxing will be here. And it was. And I came back and became a world champion. So do what makes you happy.
That's what's
it's your life, you know.
You know, I had Chris Bird on my show recently, and he said something that really stuck with me. And he's like one of the most inspirational people you could ever talk to. I don't know if you know him on a personal level or like follow him.
My son, I'm listening.
Oh my God, he is like so amazing. So Chris Bird comes on, and at the end, he's like, "You all have one life to live it." And
yes.
And he went on this whole thing, and I'm like, this guy's incredible. And I've had him on my show twice, and I'm just like, this guy is just next level. And every single day since I spoke to him a week and a half ago, I put that in my head.
Yeah.
That's a great man. That's a great man.
Yeah, be happy. You got to learn to be happy with where you at.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be, you can't like, oh, when I get here, I'm going to be happy. Oh, I wish I was back there in the past. That I was so happy then. No, be happy now.
Exactly.
I'm happy now.
live for today. And, I was talking about him being a great man, and you're a great woman, and we cannot wait to have you back in boxing and still inspire and do the things you're doing. Again, 31 bouts, you got 15 KOs, 50% knockout percentage. You're out there, you're fighting the best and you're doing the best you can. And we cannot wait to see you back again.
Yes. Thank you so much.